Welcome back to the Arts Department, everyone. I'm Autumn Rain Turkel, and this video is Important Lessons About Art. These are some lessons that I've learned over the years as an artist that I thought you might be interested in, that might help you in your journey, your understanding, and keeping a balanced mind about what it means to be an artist. We're going to do this one a little differently today. I'm just going to show you some art. We're going to talk over it. Let's get into it. This is Hard Truths from a professional illustrator. So we're going to talk about the pros and cons of being an artist, of an artist's life. And I think it's important to remember that one man's trash is another man's treasure when it comes to this sort of stuff. The things that I consider to be cons of the life might be something that you're really into as an artist and as a person, as a human being. So take that into account when watching videos like this. This is my point of view as an artist. This is the things that are negative. Not necessarily negative, but the things that I look at as challenges of being an artist. And then the good things, the things that I appreciate about being an artist. And like a lot of things in art, they're somewhat interchangeable. So some days some of these things are great and I appreciate them more and I think of them in a positive, and some days they're bad and I think of them in a negative. So that was a long introduction, but let's get into this. So one of the cons is it's hard. It is damn hard. It takes hours and hours of dedicated study, and this means that you're going to have to draw everything all of the time. Drawing everything you see, to understand it on a fundamental basis, to be able to turn it around in 3D in your head, to be able to naturalistically pose your figures, to all of the things, all of the art things. So you have to continually work at those things. They're not something that you get to rest on your laurels. You can work and work and work and gain these skills, and then you take a little bit of time, some downtime, or say you went on a vacation for a couple of weeks and you come back and suddenly your skills aren't what they used to be, and it can go that quickly. This stuff atrophies, so you have to keep up your skills by working all the time at this stuff. If you don't keep up working on it, the longer that you go without drawing, painting, sculpting, or doing the art, whatever that is you want to keep sharp, the harder it's going to be to get back into it. This includes making other art that isn't directly what you want to keep sharp. Other art is going to keep that somewhat sharp, but the tools and the techniques are not always going to translate. While there is some information within watercolors about the way that you approach color and that sort of thing, you're going to miss out on the brush strokes of oil painting and the blending of oil painting, because they're two separate mediums. You can do your best to keep your skills sharp across the board, but some of those things aren't going to translate, and you're not going to be able to keep all of them up at all times. So that's one thing that you're just going to have to live with, and you kind of juggle them around as a professional artist, depending on your approach. If you want to be good at all the things, then you have to really put the time in. Another con, and this is across the board, and this is from starting artists all the way up through professionals, all the way up through the highest echelon of professional that you can think of, and that is crappy clients. They don't know anything about art. They just know that they want your art, or they know that you're the hot thing, and they want you to work on their project, and frequently they don't really care about what your process is. So as an artist, you developed your style across years of working, and And then a client can come in and say, oh, we want it like this, 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 and this, but do your thing. And not understanding that as an artist, you have certain ways that you work that help you to arrive at your final look and feel, right? It's one of the most challenging things, and it doesn't change. So one thing that you can do to mitigate that is to get your patience and your communication skills up to deal with it. Learn to be empathetic first, and then protect yourself. Communicate with empathy, meaning put yourself in the place of the client so that you understand what the client needs, and try to communicate as if you were them. So that way you have an easier time communicating with the client and there's not tension there. And then secondarily, write up favorable contracts. And don't do any work without getting paid up front, at least half up front. And that's going to ease the pain of those challenging clients. So there's other things that you can do to ease the pain, of course, but beyond the scope of what we're talking about right now. Another con is if you don't work hard, you're not going to succeed. And while success is individual, you get to determine what success means to you. Is it becoming a comic book artist and working in the field of comics? Is it becoming an animator and working in a field of animation? Is it rising to the top of one of those fields and becoming a director of animated features, or an editor at a major comic book publisher? Any number of different things. Is it becoming the next hot thing in the art world? But that's up to you. But if you don't work hard at it, you're not going to succeed. It's not going to fall into your lap. There's a aspect of art that is luck, and it's about who you know. But if you aren't prepared when luck comes knocking, you're not going to get that opportunity. So be prepared by working hard. Another con is someone is always going to be more hungry than you. And that means they're going to be better than you. Regardless of how good you are, will always be someone who is better than you. You're fooling yourself if you don't think so. Ego is important, but keep in mind that there will be people that are better than you. And that's okay. As a creative, you're always going to see something that someone does better than you. That's part of the process of artistic inspiration and growth. The important part is how you react. Let it inspire you, not get you down. Use it as fuel for your creative fire, right? Next is you're going to have to fight for your audience. I don't mean you have to punch someone. I mean, very few people just drop out of the blue and have thousands of social media followers and tons of work coming in. It's a long road. And almost all of the artists that you know and the artists that you love have been doing it all their lives. It's a long road, and almost all of the artists that you know and the ones that you love have been doing it all their lives, laboring in obscurity, working on their craft, and then putting things out there. Almost all of the artists that you know and love have been doing it all their lives. They've been laboring in obscurity and putting their stuff onto the internet, and finally preparation met that luck and they took off. They just happened to hit a threshold where they gain a larger following, and it turned over into something huge, and that translated into more work, which is ultimately the point. You are working in this field to get more work in this field, because you're putting stuff out there so that you get commissions from people, so that you get to make more art and people pay you to make art. So it sounds kind of depressing unless you love doing art. And you're going to have to, because art is a lifelong pursuit. And you'll find that as an artist, you have much to learn continually. You're always going to be striving for something. There's always going to be something wrong with an image, and that's okay. You're constantly striving for something and working to learn, improve, and understand. Art is about understanding the natural world around you or creating worlds. So now let's talk about the good stuff. What is there that's good about being an artist? I already said some of the things, because if you're into art, then all of the things that I said were a negative are a positive, right? Some people love the pursuit of the craft. Some people love the challenge of reaching people. Some people love the process of artistic growth, of looking back and seeing where they've been and where they're going. I don't know too many people that like crappy clients, though, so we can keep that as a con. So let's talk about the good stuff, the pros of being a pro. Love and support. That's, so many people will look at what you're doing, your creations, and the community that you find along the way are so supportive. They want to share information. They want to share how they do what they do. And you're going to build amazing friends that understand where you're coming from. And that's a great place to be in, because when you find that artistic community, they become your family. You probably grew up with as kind of an outcast, because artists are sometimes introverts. And if you did, the community that you find will become your introvert friends along with you. And you can just sit in a room and draw a bunch of stuff with your introvert friends, and everybody's cool. And then you come together and share your stuff, and it's wonderful. The community of fans that you will establish over the years. The fans of arts are as eclectic and interesting and creative as you are, and as your other artistic friends are. They're drawn to many of the same things. They're supportive, caring, compassionate, and they stick with you, and they want to see you succeed. They cheer you on, and they'll help you through your downtimes, and they'll be there for your successes, and they'll celebrate those successes with you. When you check something off your bucket list, whether it be an art show or a release of a comic book or something along those lines, getting your ideal dream job as an artist, whatever that is. And speaking of that, another pro is you get to create fun stuff for a living. Depending on which end of illustration or art you go into, you'll be making things that people all over the world connect with. And that's pretty amazing. You'll get to see things that you get to see video game box art. You'll get to see characters in movies. You'll get to see animation stuff. You'll get to see video game characters that people across the world, millions and millions of people are looking at and loving and making fan art of. And that's pretty neat. And there's a little tiny part of you that never has to grow up, because you're doing what you want for a living. You get to draw, paint, illustrate, sculpt, animate, and get paid to create, to birth something new into the world, even though it probably doesn't feel like it's new because everything is derivative, blah, blah, blah. But it's new, it's different, you did it, that's amazing. And like I said earlier, you never really have to grow up. You get to keep your childlike wonder at the world. Every day you get to ask the questions why and how, and say to yourself, I wonder what that would look like, and then figure it out and create it yourself. So while you have to be an adult eventually, pay your bills and all that stuff, paying your bills will be much more rewarding when your inner child got to play while making a living. That's the pros and cons of being an artist. I want to make it clear that none of the video is meant to discourage your path. I've been a professional illustrator for pretty much my entire life, and I've worked on a multitude of jobs, both freelance and corporate, and it was a wild ride. I wouldn't change it for anything, and I love it. So keep doing what you do, keep on your path, on your journey, and I wish you all of the self-defined success that you can achieve. And that's about it for the video. I hope that you found some value in my ramblings and continue on that path. If you did, smash the like button, ring the bell to get notified next time I post something up, hit the old subscribe button, and while you're down there in the About section, check out the social media all across the web. We've got Instagram, Twitter, Discord, ArtStation. You can check out my portfolio as well as get reference images to get you drawing, and Twitch. And I go live on Twitch Monday, Wednesday, and Friday evenings at 7 p.m. Pacific time. I promise I'm not this chill. But we do have some discussions like this. And that's it from the arts department. Keep drawing. We'll see you next time. All right, that's it. That's all I got to say about that. Hopefully you found... All right, that's it.